decent fish too. Ooh, that one liked it going down.
Second one. Oh, this is just definitely too small of a rod for this. Oh, but I'm just gonna try to keep pressure on him here. Oh yeah, that is what we're talking about. I have lost about 4 of these guys here, and I am about ready to lose my mind.
A bit? Yep. Feels like a walleye. Oh, I forget I have. Oh no. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, that is 2 fish I've lost now. Yep. Gonna have to get good pressure on him. Oh my gosh, that is 3 in a row. Yep. Oh my gosh, see if I can finally get. That is 4 fish, and I am about to lose my mind.
But it is my own fault. Give that guy a drink quick. Oh, show him off to the camera here. Oh man, like I said, healthy fish. I've lost about 4 of these guys. We'll get him down. Whoa, so she turned right at the last second. Come on, come on. I am an absolute yard sale right now. But I was out chasing some crappies. Not sure if this is gonna be the end of that video or if this is gonna be a whole new video, but I was trying some shallower stuff, seeing if there's any crappies up shallower. Started seeing some big marks rolling through, and I knew that they had to be walleyes, just maybe pike too, but they were just too big to be anything else. They were looking like they were ready to eat, so I felt like I had already gotten a pretty good what I wanted to show for crappies. We could have sat out and fished those even through dark and kept catching fish, but the fact that I could still catch some walleyes out here was very enticing to me. I don't know how much of it I have already showed or if I'm going to show it now, but I have lost, oh no, I think 4 fish. Made the decision to switch over to some walleyes here, and I realized that I did not have any of my walleye rods, so all on me. I'm using this 32 light, which is obviously too light of a rod, and so those first 4, I just don't think I got hooks into them. So I switched out my spoon a little bit in case the little bit bigger hook was going to help with the hookup percentage. The spoon before that had a little bit smaller hooks. Changed it out here, hopefully get some better hookups here, and obviously that one I really had to just give it because this 32 light does not have a lot of backbone. Obviously it's for panfish, and so targeting a 20-inch walleye like that is going to be very hard on this rod. So all that to say, we're now going to chase some walleyes here for the last little bit of light. It was completely scrambled. I have my tip up. I'll pan it over there. You can see my tip up hanging out right over there. Ooh, something over at the tip up. You can see that guy chasing. Doesn't look super big. You can see all those fish just skirting on bottom. Ooh, this guy's going to come in. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, come on. Commit. I'm just going to dead stick it here. There's enough down there where I'm going to drop back down. I'm going to take the chance, because that one looks like a good fish too. And now I might get some competition from these 2 fish. We'll see. That guy still liked it. Come on. Coming up. Gonna keep him chasing. Oh, I'm running out of real estate here. Drop back down. Let that fall, hopefully. Ooh, that other guy liked it. Come on. Commit. Commit. There we go. I really had to give it to him because, like I said, this rod is so loose and I've already lost multiple fish. Another decent fish. Ooh, once he decided to go, he choked it. Ooh, another good one down there. See if I can get this guy off quick. There we go. Another decent walleye. There's about 3-4 of them down there. 2 for sure. We're looking at it. We're gonna let that one go. Whoa, he is fired up. All these fish have been so fired up. I'm like I said, I'm having to horse them in pretty good because I do not have the right gear. This is just too light of a setup, but I knew there was fish around and I wanted to take the opportunity to potentially catch these fish. And honestly, for a night out in an hour in kind of the Park Rapids area and kind of your central Minnesota, deep, clear bodies of water, these fish get super spooky. And honestly, it seems like once it's January, these fish can be very hard to catch. So having a night like this, even though I'm very frustrated with how many fish I've been missing, still I'm very happy with, because being to catch a few walleyes, and honestly, we would be having a very good night had I been smart and had my walleye gear. But so far, paying off to kind of make the switch here, that's for sure. We don't have a lot of time left for this night bite window. And there is something looking over at my dead stick. Also, every once in a while I get a question on kind of what I use. I mostly use this for panfish, but what I use to get fish out. This is a, I'll show you this side. This is a Rapala magnet. Just clips right on there so you can kind of pull it off. Use the toothpick to get the hook out of the mouth if it needs, and that has been really slick. Honestly, it works for these walleyes really well too. They originally come on like a retractable, and I haven't had as good a luck with those. So went with this and been really liking it so far. So 2 walleyes, missed some. If we can get another fish or 2, this would be a sweet little transition, even with the frustration of missing those fish. I did want to talk you through quick where I am set up. And so off to the side of me is the basin. That's kind of where I was chasing these crappies. And a lot of the lakes in the Park Rapids area are these good multi-species lakes where you have bass, pike, walleye, crappie, bluegill, lots of these multi-species lakes. Chase those during the day. And honestly, if I was sitting out there right now, those crappies would probably be scattering over the basin and maybe be a little bit easier to catch. And you can kind of sit in one spot as they scatter around. They might not be quite as spooky. But I decided a lot of on the edge of these basins, there's these shorelines that a lot of times these walleyes will also cruise. The crappies will come up along the edges there too, but the walleyes will often cruise there, especially at night. And so I'm kind of adjacent to that basin, and it's in between these 2 very shallow spots. I'll just kind of pan around. I'll zoom out a little bit. Zoom out a little bit here so you can see it already starting to come up on that side, gets shallower there, and then behind me it comes up again. And if I zoom out even further, you'll see it come up even shallower and pan around that way, and it comes up again. So you can see there's shallow spots on either side of me. And it kind of levels out in this 20-foot range, and it seems like these fish just cruise this like a highway. We got one coming in here. See if we can get this guy to go. We're at the right time of night here. That sun is just about at the treetops there, just about getting to that prime time. But essentially what this does is it puts up 2 walls. It's almost like a hallway for these fish to move through. They can't go one side or the other. It's at a good depth. So anywhere you can find these in that 15 to 25, maybe even out to 30 feet between either humps, between 2 points, between a chunk of land and a hump, whatever it is, 2 shallow areas with this saddle kind of in between. It just funnels these fish in. And again, this is another one of those spots that can be perfect. You can set up, you can cover it. For example, this one's probably only, 70 feet wide. And so I can easily cover, I have myself here, and then closer to that break, about 30 feet out that way, I have my tip up, and we're kind of covering the width of this. So any of these fish kind of cruising through, if they're cruising the break line of each of these, we're going to get fish kind of cruising both sides of these. We've had these flurries of, 2 or 3 fish coming through. Some have been looking at the dead stick, some will look at here. So yeah, that's where we're fishing here. Like I said, I feel very scattered because this is a very last minute decision. But still some valuable information that is a bite that is very easily done on a lot of your typical deep, clear lakes in Minnesota that have a little bit of every species. And being able to target crappies during the day like that takes a little work, but then being able to move up on some of these shallower areas, targeting some of these walleyes can be a great 1-2 punch for kind of a multi-species type day. Tell you what, it does feel a little weird to be fishing in the shack right now. We've had such a mild winter, so a lot of it's been walking out. Haven't really needed the shack, to be honest. It's been so warm. Now we're finally getting into that single digits and really putting on some ice, which is nice. And so I've kind of actually transitioned a little bit from my early ice setup, which is my Norfin Klondike boots and the Element Plus float suit, a little bit lighter. The Klondikes have those cleats that you can fold in and fold out. So now I switched over to my little bit warmer setup, which is the Norfin Yukons, which is the lightest, warmest boot I have ever owned. They are rated for -60. They are just awesome. They're a little bulkier than maybe a different style of boot, maybe like a muck boot or something like that. A little bit bulkier, but they are way lighter, way warmer. And then this is the Element this is the Explorer Camo float suit. It's heated. It's got the float option as well. But honestly, a lot of times I just run around like this with the base layer jacket. If you're interested in checking any of those out, I will have all those in the description below. You can use my code TJ10 for 10% off if you're interested in that. Help you out, help me out, win-win.
Again, I apologize if this audio is bad. I don't typically use this mic, but my mic died earlier, so here's where we're at. Second one cruising through towards bottom. That one looked like it was a little more fired up. A little more fired up. Yep. Decent. I thought it was smaller right away. See if we can get this guy in. I had such a hard time getting these fish in. Solid fish. Oh, there we go. A little bit smaller. This one's probably more in that, I don't know, 18, 19-inch range, but still an awesome fish. So I've hooked up with the last 3 fish, was able to land them, and you know, same rod, same reel. It's that 32-inch light, that panfish rod, Piscifun Carbon X 500 panfish reel, although it can be used for walleyes as well. But the one thing that I did is I changed my spoon. I moved to a little bit bigger spoon. I'll even just show you here real quick. Changed up to this Frostbite dinner bell. Got a little bit bigger treble hook, so I figured if, with these fish being relatively aggressive, I could upsize to a little bit bigger spoon, and hopefully those bigger treble hooks would help me get better hooks in these fish, since I am definitely undersized on my rod. But we're 3 for 3 on that spoon, so hopefully if we get any others, we'll be able to get those ones in as well. Well, once that sun went behind the trees, this bite shut completely off. But still a fun little night, a very, very frustrating night. The fact that I was monkeying around, getting stuff set up, getting cameras set up, getting tip-up set up during that prime time bite, missed a lot of fish. But either way, anytime you can go out and have some action like this in January in central Minnesota, north central Minnesota, on some of these smaller, deeper, clearer lakes, I am not going to complain. This is about as good as you can do. And hopefully you can use some tips from this video, some location from this video, onto some of your body of water, whatever you're fishing, and be able to hopefully catch a few more walleyes here this winter.